Welcome, friends, to Budget Meals. We're going to do a simple and easy breakfast item. Most of the prep can be done the night before, so that way everything can be simple in the morning. We're going to make it using poha or rice flakes. What we're using is the red rice flakes. We're using 2 cups. You want to go ahead and measure out 2 cups or however many you're planning to use and put it in a colander and just set it aside. We're not going to rinse it or wash it or do anything right now. We're just going to go ahead and set it aside for now. So you're also going to need 1 small diced onion, half a cup of sliced green beans, half a cup of carrot and peas, half a cup of chopped spinach, and 1 teaspoon of ginger and 2 green sliced chilies. Go ahead and heat a skillet with 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, and once the oil is heated through, add half a cup of mustard seeds. And once the mustard seeds have all popped, you're gonna go ahead and add a tablespoon of yellow split peas or tur dal. We're adding 1 tablespoon of the yellow split peas because that's what we had on hand. Tur dal is fine also. And you want to just go ahead and saute it until this changes color to brown. And to this, we're also going to add a tablespoon of urna or urad dal. You want to go ahead and saute this together, and then we'll add a nut to this just to give it some protein. You can make any curry to go with this, but we're having it pretty plain. I'll tell you what we're having with it in a minute. We're just going to go ahead and add half a cup of cashews. We're leaving it whole, but you can split it or cut it if you want. So we're just going to go ahead and brown this for a little bit. The heat is on medium right now. After we added the dals, we decreased the heat to medium because we don't want the cashews and the dals to burn. So this is pretty simple. You just go ahead and brown it. And this is a pretty simple breakfast. Sometimes when we don't feel like making anything else for dinner, we'll have this for dinner too, but most of the time it's for breakfast. You can have this by itself, or you can just simply have it with some boiled eggs or some chickpea curry or egg curry. Goes pretty well with anything. Then you're gonna go ahead and add 2 stems of curry leaf to it. We were making this outside because we didn't want to get the house too hot, but forgot to grab the green chilies. It's still inside, so I'm just gonna run in and grab that. So you just want to go ahead and saute it, just move it around to make sure that nothing gets burned. And once you add the 2 green chilies, you're gonna go ahead and keep sauteing it until the chilies are a little wilted. It doesn't take that long since the heat is on medium. It doesn't take that long at all. This probably took all of 10-15 minutes to make. So if you're rushed in the morning, you can do all the prepping the night before and then just put it all together in the morning. There, just put in the 2 green chilies. You can slice all the vegetables and the onions and the ginger, chili, everything, get it ready the night before, and just throw it all in a skillet in the morning. It'll be ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add the teaspoon of ginger now, and then the small diced onion, and then the half a cup of sliced green beans, then about half a cup of peas and carrots. We're not going to add the spinach right now because the spinach is so tender. It doesn't take that long to cook at all. So we're just going to go ahead and move this around, get it pretty well cooked. We just want the vegetables to cook before we add the poha in there. This is when you want to go ahead and add the salt. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon, and that's plenty for the amount of vegetables and the rice flakes we're using. But of course, it's to your preference, so salt to taste. You want to go ahead and mix it to combine. Make sure the salt is well dispersed in there. You just want to go ahead and keep sauteing the vegetables. So after you add the salt, you want to go ahead and increase the heat to high. You can increase the heat to high after you add the vegetables. We just lowered it since we had to go back inside and get the green chilies. You can cook this on high, but just make sure you keep stirring it. So while the vegetables are sauteing, you want to go ahead and just rinse the poha. You don't want to soak it, you just want to rinse it. You just want to get a little bit of water on there because you don't want it to be so dry when you put it into the skillet. But you definitely don't want to soak it because it'll be too drenched. That's not the consistency you would want. So next we're going to add 3 tablespoons of grated coconut. We're adding 3 tablespoons because that's plenty for, like I said, for the amount of poha and the vegetables we're using. 3 tablespoons is perfect. But if you feel like you want more, you can definitely add a little more coconut. It's not going to hurt anything. Or you can even add less if you're not a coconut person. So you just want to go ahead and keep cooking it until the coconut is all toasted and warm in there. And the heat is still on high. And we're gonna go ahead and add the poha here in a little bit because the vegetables are almost all cooked through. It looks pretty done. We're just waiting for the coconut to get toasted through. There, it's looking pretty good. You can see all the vegetables in there. It's so colorful. We're gonna go ahead and add the 2 cups of rinsed poha. Just be careful that when you rinse it that you don't squeeze the water out. Just kind of shake it out. You don't want to squeeze it out because you do want, that's the only moisture you're going to have in there. You're not adding any liquid in there except for the oil you added in the beginning because you don't want this to come out too dry. So you definitely don't want to squeeze the water out. Just let it go out by shaking the colander a little bit. Just go ahead and give it a good mix to get everything well combined. And then what you're going to do is you're going to keep the heat on high. After you mix it all together, then we're going to go ahead and add the spinach in a minute when it's almost cooked. So right before we add the spinach, we're going to give it a taste to see if it's enough salt. If there's not enough salt, this is the time when you want to add it right now. But the salt that we had put in, the 1 teaspoon, was just perfect. There's no need for any extra salt. The taste was perfect. We didn't have to add any extra salt. So we're gonna go ahead and add the spinach now. Like I said earlier, we're adding it towards the end because it doesn't take that long to cook the spinach at all. So if you don't have spinach available, you can leave this step completely out. We have plenty of organic spinach that I had bought, so I thought it was a good idea to get some extra vegetables first thing in the morning. Get your servings of vegetables for the day. If you start off early, then you just have less to meet by the end of the day. So went ahead and put the spinach in. Then you want to cover it and cook it. The heat is still on high. Cook it for another 5 minutes, but just make sure you stir it in between to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. So this is after 5 minutes. It's cooked. It's perfectly done. It's ready to go. This was so yummy. We just had it that morning with just some boiled eggs with some salt and pepper on it. It was just perfect. But if you are not in a hurry, or if you had a curry or chickpea curry or something, you could definitely serve it with that. It was just the perfect breakfast. And thank you for watching. Hope all of you will like and subscribe and try to make this and let us know how it turned out. It's a good item for breakfast, lunch, if you want, or for dinner. That's our cat Beanie, just checking things out. And Peanut likes her place in that little bag.